Greetings, individuals who are interested in seeing vintage Magic the Gathering. That's kind of a departure from the norm, isn't it? Anyways, Wednesday Night Vintage League, we've got a spicy brew that Twitch chat, quote unquote, helped me make today. We are playing Bazaar of Baghdad, but this time with Cavern of Souls, which is an odd combination, I have to admit. But we have the human Asmoranomardicadaistinaculdacar or something like that, and her favorite friend, the Artificer Riddlesmith, as well as this new card, Steel Seeker, which I have never gotten to play with. I just learned about today. Looks pretty sweet. Artifacts enter the battlefield. Look at the top card of your library. If it's a land, I can put it in my hand. If not, we can put it in the graveyard. Any card can go into the graveyard. Kind of a cool little engine. Find some powerful lands with our Bazaar of Baghdad and Cavern of Souls. So yeah, we're a AsmoVine Asmo deck that's going to use additional engines of Riddlesmith Daredevil, Cookbook Daredevil, Bazaar Daredevil. So this is kind of like a squeeze style effect to play a pretty grindy creature battle. We should be able to handily deal with creature decks, I would hope, with between Asmo and our Vengevine shell. And then we also have, some insane card advantage with our Riddlesmith and our Steel Seeker and our Cookbooking lifestyle. Yeah, it could be fun. We do have Vigor, which I like as a bit way for like these kind of more grindy creature-based decks to interact with a variety of combo decks in the format that use it or is a Saga. Obviously, that will not help us against Doomsday. Nothing is going to help us versus Doomsday. We're going to board in, 10 cards or something, but actually, maybe we wouldn't even board in Surgical because we don't have Wasteland in this deck. We're going to board in like 6 cards and hope and pray. Maybe we can attack them with Vengevines, that would be pretty good. What else? Yeah, so it's a fun one. It's a cool Asmo why am I even trying to say it? Just stick with Asmo, and we're testing out this cool Steel Seeker card, and it should be pretty fun. Let's get right into round 1. If you'd like to see your deck played on this channel, check out the Patreon link in the description below, where you can find all the information you need to submit a donation deck list. Let's battle. Okay, here we go. Round 1, Vintage League with Asmo. I didn't change the stream title, so I'm doing that now. Asmo Bazaar. Yeah, Asmo Bazaar. That's a good name. We're doing that. Asmo Bazaar. I hit yes. What do I have? A classic hand that does not contain Bazaar of Baghdad, nor does it contain 2 mana in a Riddlesmith. I think this is a no-go. Let's try again. This one has... I have all my pitch cards, but none of my Bazaar of Baghdad's, and none of... Like, this hand I actually would keep if I had... Well, I mean, Riddlesmith would need another Moxen or something to go with it, but I feel like it would be closer. Or even, like, a Cookbook. But it's just not... It's not exactly enough going on. Okay, here I have finally found my Bazaar, but I don't have any of the creatures that go along with it. But I do have about 1,000,000 mana, so let's keep this, and let's put the Cookbook on the bottom and the Cavern on the bottom. Seeing as I have a Black Lotus. Let's try this. Done. And then I would like to first activate Bazaar and see what we draw. Oh. My poor opponent. Man, imagine playing 8 Root Wallas, how easy this would be. That deck would be pretty broken. So we also get to just deploy our Steel Seeker, and we can cast... We can play this and maybe put another card in our yard. It's probably worthwhile. Or we can get a land if we find it. Oh, we have a hollow one. So what? Can I just choose to leave it on top? Look at the top card. If it's a land, I may reveal... Wait. If it's a land, you may reveal it and put it in my hand. If I don't put the card in my hand, it has to go in the grave. So I can just not reveal it. But then I would have to draw a mana anyways, so it doesn't act. I don't actually want to put this in my hand because I would just activate next turn anyways. So it's better to just put this in the yard and pump my Root Walla. Go. Yeah, Steel Seeker not at its best when we're doing Vengevine things, but it is what it is. Well, the good news is I can just not reveal it. So I theoretically could scry with it, right? Look at the top card of your library. My opponent is deciding whether or not this starting hand of 4 green creatures for... Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. So I would put these cards directly into my yard and then draw this card. Not exactly ideal. I do feel like we have some competing game plans here. Surveil. Sure. So we don't know what our opponent's on. All we know is they are 1-3 and conceded to a Vengevine. So I'm just going to hit submit and see what happens. I don't think it's worth trying to ruin our engine over. I think we should technically have hands that are like Moxen, Cavern, Riddlesmith or something that are playable that don't contain Bazaar. But we do have some competing resources here. I think that hand is just a great example of how broken the hollow one is, or like the not the hollow one is, but the fair Bazaar decks, the non-dredge Bazaar decks are like, we just had a very normal Vengevine double Walla, and it's like not uncommon to have, you know, multiple hollow ones, multiple Vengevines. Like there's 8 Vengevines, 4 hollow ones, 4 sorry, not 8 Vengevines, 8 root Wallas, 4 Vengevines, 4 hollow ones. Like you just get so much free power every turn. Yeah, maybe we were supposed to play Steel Seeker pre-combat. I was like looking for a better way to use my Black Lotus though. Mulligan this hand. Like this hand, I think I'm probably going to... Well, if this was a Riddlesmith, I think I'd be more interested in keeping it than if it was a Steel Seeker. Because what are we really accomplishing here? I guess we could theoretically keep this hand, pitch the Vengevine to the cookbook. Maybe this hand can... let's try it. I don't know what this is going to do for us, but let's try this. Tolarian Academy, huh? You conceded to Vengevine off in a Tolarian Academy deck? That seems really crazy to me. Oh, it might be aggro. It's either Aggro Workshops or... Oh, that's unfortunate. Aggro Workshops or... KCI aggro. We're gonna have to draw. I was gonna say we're gonna have to draw another land. We did draw another land. I am just gonna go Cavern on human, and I'm gonna play out the Underworld Cookbook. This is only an artifact enters the battlefield, so I won't get a trigger off of Ruby if it gets countered by Chalice. The cool thing here is I can actually discard my Root Walla and block if this was not going to murder me. Actually, next turn I can discard the Vengevine this turn, and then on my next turn I can go Dranis Spellseeker off of Cavern and then Root Walla off of Cookbook. Oh my god, it's the initiative. That's exciting. Initiative shops. I really hope they don't play a Sphere. That would be pretty bad for us. Nettle Cyst. Okay, so I think this is a pretty big board. We're probably going to need to draw Vigor to win this game, but we were going to steal the initiative with this Vengevine, but this Nettle Cyst is now too big. This could be pretty challenging. All right, let's see. Discard a Vengevine, make a food, untap, draw, Bazaar. I still think I'm going to go with the Steel Seeker plan. So Cavern, human, Steel Seeker. Discard Root Walla. Cast Trigger Vine. And then I get a food token and I get a Steel Seeker. And I can put this directly into my yard. Okay. I don't think that's enough, unfortunately. Because this Nettlecyst is so large, I can't attack and steal the initiative. Which is going to be really problematic. Because there are things that are going to get even larger. Probably am in serious trouble. Yeah, things got a little too large. We can probably chump with a vine for one turn, and then hopefully try to dig with Baghdad and get out of it. It's probably just too much on the play. This hand on the play, with us being slowed down by a turn, might have just been too much. Kind of need the vigor to play here. Even a vigor is like kind of hard. Oh my god. Okay, yeah. My opponent's Tolarian Academy doing double work here as a huge mana source. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna be I don't think we're gonna get out of just the size of these creatures. It's just so large. Don't know what one card. Yeah. Almost. Almost. All right. Opponent on the play here was a little too much for us. We're definitely going to bring in this Forest. I think we're going to bring in this Cathar Commandos and the Gaia's Cradles. The Mental Misstep can go. And then we have to somehow trim magic cards. I think I want to just trim a bunch of Once Upon a Times and a Cookbook. Does that make any sense? I don't know, but I'm doing it. Submit. Okay, so where does that really leave us? We're playing against Aggro Initiative Shops. We do have a lot of creatures to steal the initiative, and we have Asmo, which should be pretty good in this matchup if we can get it down. This hand looks quite good, actually. Keep. We've got Daredevil and some Moxen. Obviously, if they have Leyline, it's pretty bad for us, but... Once Upon a Time for Asmo or for second Daredevil? This is an Asmo, I think. We can't cast Asmo on turn 1, but at least it's a payoff. I guess we can if we draw a Moxen, theoretically. Another Moxen, maybe. All right, I still think we're gonna play Bazaar, activate Bazaar, and then we're gonna pitch our Daredevil and... All right, so we did hit double Daredevil. And I think we're just going to get rid of a land. And then I will play my... I'm just going to play the Opal. No, I might want to pitch the Opal. I'm just going to play the Pearl and get back the Daredevils now in case they play like Spheres or something. And this costs red or black. Okay. So that was a strong hand, but I don't know if it's strong enough to beat Mishra's Workshop. Patchwork Automaton, and a Graph Digger's Cage. Okay, so the good news is that Graph Digger's Cage is just going to stop Vine. It's not going to stop our Daredevils from coming back. We drew a Riddlesmith, which is super interesting too. I think we just start with a Bazaar because we have these Daredevils. So I can go Daredevil, Daredevil, Root Walla. This doesn't stop Root Walla, right? Can't cast spells from graveyards or library. Okay. Or maybe I just get rid of an So nothing is making... Well, the Asmo gets us a thing, right? So we want to cast the Asmo... Even if we cast an Asmo to turn on the Opal, it doesn't help us this turn. I want to cast Riddlesmith and use Riddlesmith. I think this is just... We just lead with this because this makes the most sense. So if I were to go Cavern Asmo, I can then go book, get back my Daredevils. If I were to go Cavern Riddlesmith, play my Opal, get back Daredevil, draw a card. I think Riddlesmith is better than Steelseeker right now. But I don't know if one card is good enough. I think I'd rather get an Asmo in play. This gives me a cookbook. And this cookbook gives me my Daredevils. And then I think I just hold the rest. All right, I mean, we have a crazy engine. If my opponent doesn't like ever wasteland us, we're super far ahead. So this is pretty strong. Yeah, paying for the cookbook was the problem for sure. They did find a wasteland, but we still have a Riddlesmith, so I think we still and a cookbook already going. So I think we already have the engine we need. The Bazaar was definitely gravy. I don't know if it's enough though. But we can make at least 2 food and kill something if we need to. So though ward is abilities, so we have to consider that as well. We have so much going on. Another ward creature. The ward is going to be hugely problematic. It's going to cost us a ton of time. Okay. That's really bad for us because they were pretty behind on mana, and then now they can play another thing. It looks like they don't have another thing. Is there any reason to keep my Root Wallet in play? Does it do anything for me? I did Warding Cradle, so I guess so. So I guess just we could take the hit. I think double block... Yeah, double block might have been good because we had second Asmo. That's true. I might have wanted to double block. All right, so this comes back. We get this back. We get a free food. Draw. All right, so I think the answer is definitely going to be Riddlesmith. I don't think we need to kill a Patchwork right away, whereas the Riddlesmith is going to give us good value where we can actually get some velocity going here. You know? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm completely wrong. I'm pretty sure we want to get as many Riddlesmiths going as possible, but maybe we wanted to get Steelseeker because it was going to give us an activation every time. I should definitely have double blocked. Wow. I'm like kind of... Yeah, I should have double blocked for sure. I actually did like very much did nothing this turn. And I can't even Asmo because they're both Patchwork automatons. I mean, to be fair, Steelseeker would have got us... What? The same... Maybe one deeper? Yeah, I'm definitely regretting not double blocking on the Patchwork, that's for sure. It probably is going to come back and bite me. I felt like... Yeah, I should have definitely went for more. The fact that I can't kill these patchwork automatons easily is really going to hinder me. Is this going to be a worm coil? I think a worm coil is beatable from this situation, so I'm not too worried about that. I am currently not doing anything. I agree with that statement. Oh, it's a foundry inspector. Okay, well, I can kill that without having to sacrifice anything. I might have to take whatever block they give me now, which is really unfortunate. Oh my god. Everything is bad. Everything is really bad. Not double blocking last turn was just atrociously bad from my point of view. I think we were winning this game if I had double blocked, but because I just didn't double block. It was quite poor for us. If they don't have a follow-up and they willingly give me any kind of trading option here, I'm just going to take it. Oh, okay, this is fine. I get to repeat my gank or my problem here, and that seems like the best thing I can hope for here. All right, so this, ooh, I really need mana, don't I? Okay, so this is fine though, right? Because, oh fuck, I guess I play a Steel Seeker because we really need to hit like a Gaia's Cradle or something here. I think we just play a Steel Seeker, activate our cookbook. That gives us a look to find a land. It's a Mox. So I could keep this on top, cast cookbook, draw into Mox. But then I can't play my Asmo. I was very skeptical we would have enough artifacts to play Academy, so I chose not to play Academy. Well, I want to play Asmo to kill the Germ token. And it also is going to draw me another card, right? All right, I think I'm going to keep this on top. And then cast Cookbook, drawing a card with Riddlesmith, putting a Daredevil in the yard. This resolves. I get the Daredevil back. I get a new Steel Seeker trigger. Vigor. Do I want to keep Vigor? Yeah. Yeah, I want to keep Vigor. No. No, put the card in the yard. Cast Sapphire, draw Vigor. Yes. Discard. Okay, now we're going off. Return the Daredevil. Put this in my hand. Play the Bazaar. Activate the Bazaar. Vengevine into the yard, which we can get back next turn. Oh, but now I don't have a cookbook. Do I still want a cookbook? What does that give me? That gives me a Steel Seeker trigger. We did want a cookbook first when we still had our Daredevils. I guess we don't need another Riddlesmith anyways. Yeah, I should have cookbooked first. I'm doing a bunch of learning. And then there's a Mox on top. I'm going to leave the Mox. The Moxes seem quite good for us. Okay, so then we pass, and I just hit them with... I don't actually have to upkeep this Vigor at all. Oh, I might have to chump block, though. We'll have to see if I have to chump block or not. Strip mine, that's fine. We don't need a Bazaar. This thing, when they cast another spell, is going to be bigger than the Asmo, but we can probably... Well, we can't double pay for it. We're going to have to do some kind of blocking. All right, I think I am just going to Vigor these two. Yeah, it's all my fault. I should have just made that earlier trade and everything would have been a lot easier. I screwed up pretty badly. I don't think I have to be worried about Ballista because we've seen the initiative. So I think I can just take a hit again. If they don't have another follow-up, I think we just are easily winning with one Asmo plus 2 mana. And if they do have a follow-up, then we probably are going to have to do some amount of chump blocking. But I think we're... Oh, they hit the cavern. Wow. And they don't have a follow-up. Okay, so we're super far ahead. So we start with Cycle Jet because that just discards a Daredevil and gives us a new card. And then we return this, and then we do this, and then I think we keep that because we get to activate this and discard these. Maybe we can discard land. No, we kind of want all the mana we can get. And then we cast the hollow one. Oh, that doesn't get... whatever. It's fine. We're going to have so many triggers, we'll find another land or something. Return this. Return this. Trigger this. Excuse me. Do this. Cast this. Trigger this. Draw with this. Pitch this. Return this. Draw with this. Return this. Bring back this. Activate this. This is a... no. No, I wanted to... Yes. Whatever. Cast this. Do this. Draw with this. Discard... Whatever. I still think I want to just discard this. Do this. Turn this. Yes. Yes. I don't care about these anymore. Then discard this. I feel like I might have been missing some amount of value here, but it's fine. I feel like I missed something. I just don't know what it was exactly, but... I think I'll leave that on top. And then I play this. And I play this. And then I shoot this. And I pay for ward. And then I think I just play one of these. And then eat food. And I'm just tapping all the things so that I have all the things now. Okay, I think that was fun. I still want that, I think. Cool, attack. I don't even steal the initiative, though. It's unfortunate. Well, then. I am happy to say we have exactly done the thing. So that was fun. I would put us at slightly ahead. Agreed. All right, I'm just going to attack all. So put my opponent out of their misery. Die. Well, I'm happy. Yeah, it is. Okay, round 2. I think this hand is bad. We don't have a discard outlet, so we can't play our Asmo. So let's do a little mulligan. This one does have a Bazaar of Baghdad. It looks quite good, actually. So I'm going to keep... Don't think we're in need of Riddlesmith at this current venture point. And let's see what our opponent has for us. I like where we're at. Okay. Emerald and Caracas. Oh, are we getting the initiative? Thorn. Well, that doesn't seem to matter very much. I guess that just resolves. Bazaar. Activate Bazaar. I can't cast my Once Upon a Time, but it is a green card for force, so small victories. Let's get rid of this Riddlesmith here. This gives us a Root Walla, and it gives us a Hollow One bringing back Daredevil, which is quite the synergy. One of my favorite synergies. And then next turn, we'll have mana to cast a Vigor if we need to. All right, we have 5 power. Let's see how much power they can come up with. Excuse me. All right, Wasteland for my Bazaar. It's a good one. Do you have a human too? Oh, Spirit. That is an unfortunate card. I'm so sorry. That is an enchantment. Oh, no. I want to cast Asmo. I will still give them the opportunity to block. And then I'm going to just kill their Emerald, probably. Emerald plus Spirit. Pew! F6. So I unfortunately discarded Riddlesmith, which would probably have given us... I mean, doesn't really give us an Asmo trigger, but... Strip Mine, huh? Okay. What's your plan, Stan? Oh, I guess this Caracas does bounce Asmo. That is problematic. I didn't really consider that. Oh, they're off it. I think we didn't have much left in our tank, so I'm a little happy for them to be off it. All right, so I'm going to say they're probably on mono white initiative, which makes me want to bring in Forest Gaia's Cradle. And then that's probably it. We can take out Misstep. I think we're going to take out Vigor. I don't think that's how we attack their deck. And then I guess we'll bring in... Is Endurance a better card to bring in than Cathar Commando? No. Don't think we can ever cast Endurance, really. All right, let's try this. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm pretty willing to keep this one. It's not the best. That's for sure. We keep drawing our 1 opal, and it looks very silly. Okay. Has the ruby. Casting it after the plains, I would probably not recommend. That's pretty bad for us. Maybe we shouldn't have taken out Vigor. That's so good against my hand. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have taken out Vigor. I don't think I'm keeping in Vigor just for Spirit of the Labyrinth, but I'm certainly in trouble now. I think I'm supposed to cast this once upon a time. Maybe I'm not. Maybe this doesn't do anything. Oh, yeah, look at that. Boom. Do we want Asmo or Cathar Commando? I don't know. Probably Asmo. I think we can make this work. Like, I have Riddlesmith. Maybe I can't make this work. If they just play the initiative creature here, we are pretty screwed, huh? The good news is Riddlesmith is a May, but we do... Fuck. Really? That's really good here. I don't have a basic. I mean, I do have one basic, but... Yeah. This spirit was really good. I wonder if we're supposed to keep in Vigor. Would I rather play Bazaar or Secluded Courtyard? I guess if I play Bazaar, I can play Asmo. Oh, I can't even play more than one spell in a turn, so I can't even bring back AsmoVine. Good God, this is going so badly. Yeah, I think we're in deep trouble here. This is why I wanted Dismember. God, I knew I had a reason. I remembered a reason. Nah, the big problem is we needed to get Asmo down earlier here, right? Being on the draw has been bad for the home team. Now I actually can't trigger and cast Asmo. No, I can. I can still do that on the following, but I actually need another mana source for that. Yeah. All right. If this is, yeah. All right. All right. All right. We got curved out on. We got curved out on for sure. I'm kind of off it. Hmm. Because I don't want to cast Vigor against their deck typically. Whereas Cathar attacks and has flash and blocks. I don't really want to play Vigor. It's just so bad against everything that's not that card. I'm just going to hit submit again. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to put Dismember in my deck, but I couldn't think of a reason why. So that was the reason why. I think it's fine. It's not a huge deal. Wow. That's a Hand of Magic the Gathering cards. It doesn't actually even cast Vengevine, even if I chose Elemental. That's pretty funny. Let's mulligan this. All right, this is a great hand. So if I put a Spellseeker on the bottom and I go Steel Seeker, Cookbook, Activate Cookbook, Daredevil. Activate Bazaar. Probably correct. Unless... Yeah, this gives me a couple Steel Seeker triggers to hit Vengevines. So I think it makes sense. Steel Seeker. Cookbook. Trigger Steel Seeker. It also gives me more cards to pitch to a Bazaar if I hit lands. Definitely bin that. Discard Daredevil. Get a food. Get a Steel Seeker. Get a Daredevil back. And then top card is a land. So that goes into my hand. And then I play Bazaar. Activate Bazaar. Pitching this, and the other Bazaar. I think I want Cradle more than second Bazaar. And then play a hollow one and bring back Daredevil. And I get another Steel Seeker trigger. The Steel Seeker is pretty impressive. Does a pretty powerful effect. They're just off it? They really don't like hollow one. So what is this card? Okay. And then we would draw... I mean... We take it. Okay, on to round 3 with our Asmo deck. This has a fair keep, I think, where we're playing a turn 1 human, and we have some avenues to do unfair things with it. Obviously, we're not doing unfair things to the level of a Doomsday or something like that, but... Okay, Urza Saga, okay. Sure. We don't have a Vigor in our hand. Yeah, I will allow you to look and see. Manifold Key, okay. I think I'm willing to just cast Once Upon a Time after we get more information. If they want to negate it, that's fine. Also, them negating our Pearl would be more hurtful for us, so... I think this makes sense to me. Draw our card, cast our Once Upon a Time. Ooh, that's a good draw. All right, what do I really want off this Once Upon a Time, though? I really want Moxen, which is not possible. Hollow One, Daredevil, Rootwalla, Steel Seeker. None of these are things I want. I kind of need some like artifacts to trigger Riddlesmith. I think we can take a hollow one. Maybe that's too greedy. But I already have 2 drops, so I don't want a 2-drop. And I don't think we need a second Daredevil. We could take a Rootwalla as like a way to maybe trigger our Vengevine. I think I'm just going to take a hollow one. I don't currently have the stuff I need to make this work. I think I would rather have a Riddlesmith first. Yeah, this isn't great. I think I have to draw Moxen next turn, or I'm in pretty... Or a Bazaar, or I'm in pretty deep trouble. If I do, I think I'm like pretty okay though. Maybe the hollow one was like way too greedy and I should just taken the Rootwalla. Interesting. Oh, I guess this Brainstorm does get to still loot away 1 to the Saga. We're also not interacting with our opponent's Urza Saga draw, so that could be problematic. There's a lot of things going on here. What do we need? We need a Moxen. That's or like a cookbook looks really good here, actually. Ooh, and a bazaar. Obviously, a bazaar is fantastic. Come on, help Justin out. Another Riddlesmith. Yeah. Yeah. Don't think we're actually gonna accomplish what we're looking to do in this game. I guess if we drew exactly a single artifact, we could cast this. Like we're pretty close, but it's just artifacts, and there aren't very many in our deck. Which is kind of something I was looking at earlier as being a problem. I mean, we're just gonna get murdered by like some kind of broken blue card, right? My opponent's gonna fetch up a Lotus and tinker a Time Vault or something. Maybe this wasn't a keep, just because we didn't have a follow-up artifact. That could be true. Something I didn't consider was the fact that the Once Upon a Time couldn't find me any of the cards I was missing besides a bullet a Bazaar of Baghdad, right? Oh yeah, cool, awesome. Uh, so like that was probably something that I should have kept in mind. Well, we did show them Hollow One, unfortunately, and Vine, so they do know we're on Bazaar. Whatever, something like this. To be honest, I don't think any card was going to get us out of that game where my opponent was just doing a much more powerful broken thing and we were kind of nothing. Even if we had gone off and went Hollow One Vine without Vigor, and even with Vigor, they could easily have, Fluster or Force back up for their 2-card combo that they just found. So that's kind of one of the big problems with these kind of fun decks is that you're just doing a much less powerful thing than your Tinker opponents pretty much at all times. I think looking back, I might have been supposed to mulligan the hand just because I didn't have an artifact. I kind of thought the Once Upon a Time was really good, but the Once Upon a Time didn't do anything because there was nothing besides Bazaar that the Once Upon a Time could have hit that I needed still. Like I didn't need a land. Like I didn't need a cavern or a courtyard. I didn't need a Root Walla or a Vengevine or a Hollow One or a Riddle. Like I didn't need anything off of Once Upon a Time besides Bazaar. If it hit Bazaar, I mean, obviously that hand would have been pretty good. But it would be interesting to have an artifact creature, yeah. I wonder about... I don't know. So this one has a Cathar Commando, but nothing else that's really doing anything. So it looks like a mulligan. This one has a Vigor and nothing that is really doing anything. It's kind of unfortunate. This hand would be really nice if one of these caverns was a Bazaar. Kind of mulligan that too, probably. These hands have been so bad for us. I mean, we have a lot of bad cards that are pretty disjointed, so it kind of makes sense that we would have a bunch of hands that are like this. You can't really keep Once Upon a Time Bazaar hands unless they do something else. I think I would rather just keep... Oh my god. Alright, well at this point, I might have to just keep hollow ones on 4 cards and pray. This one I think is a YOLO hand that we keep. Obviously, we just lose the game if this misses or gets countered, but I think on 4 cards on the draw, I'm just going to keep it every time and hope it works out. It's an unfortunate way to go, but it is what it is. I think our hands were quite bad. Yeah, resolved, and we hit. Now we have to play the is this good enough game. We are currently not playing powder because we are trying to keep like some hands that are Mox plus land cast 2-drop. All right, opponent, you have a Tabernacle. You have a Tinker. What do you have for us? Just a free 10 power on our Moldifor. Well, they're going to have a blocker, so it's no longer a turn 3 kill. They also have Sapphire, so they can Tinker. Put a Vine in the yard. Draw another Vine. Attack. They take 10. They just off it? What is with opponents are conceding at the weirdest times? It's not even remotely in concession area. Like, you're taking 10 here, but the next turn you can make a construct, block, not die. You have a Tutor of Saga and 2 draws. You have Tinker... I assume you have Tinker Sphinx. I assume you have Tabernacle. Like, I didn't even put Graia's Cradle in my deck, so I couldn't even draw to that. I'm not going to either. I'll just lose. People have just conceded tonight at the randomest moments. Maybe they thought it was 20 damage. I don't know. I have no idea. That makes 3 for 3. That makes 3. All 3 of our opponents have conceded games that I don't think were lost. The problem here is this one's playing Tinker, so we probably are in more trouble than before. I mean, that's a keeper. Hopefully we draw a hollow one with this hand. I think I recognize some of the names. But So this hand needs a little help, but yeah, Vintage Cube's up. That's a lot of people playing Vintage Cube, so I think if you want to watch Vintage Cube, there's plenty of people to choose from. No worries if you do. We're gonna play some real vintage. I'm not the biggest Vintage Cube guy. I do like playing Power Cube with the with the homies in real life, but online not so much. Why did I do this pre-activation of Bazaar? Well, I don't want second Bazaar. I did want this Ruby. Oh yeah, we do have a free token to use. That's true. I don't think there's any reason to get a second Bazaar. A lot of those cards I didn't want though, so small victories. I do want a Vigor. A Vigor is good. Now I have to keep this Rootwalla. I'm just gonna get rid of this second Bazaar. We do need to hit mana. Okay. Yeah, I like Supreme Cube more, but it is what it is. I don't think I'm supposed to Vigor just this Soul Ring, especially when they have cards like Saga in their deck. We really wish we hit a land or a Moxen to bring back our Daredevils. We didn't hit either of those, which is pretty unlikely. Like a mana-producing land, seeing as we cast a Once Upon a Time. I'm going to snap off a mental misstep on that. That seems pretty juicy. I'm hoping there's a Saga here, and then we can just hit them with this. No Saga. Still don't think Vigor on just Soul Ring is worth it. It does stop them from tinkering a Sphinx, but I don't think I can play a game of that much lost card ability. Man, I really just can't seem to hit a card that brings back my Daredevils. Oh no, I'm getting a hole breached. All right, well, I got punished for not. I mean, they would have just done it in response. That's so bad for me. Good night, Van. We're super dead now. Yeah, that's so bad for me. I have to discard 3 cards, and I don't even get to draw. And I don't even have my Daredevils back. I mean, I feel like we got really unfortunate side of variance in this game, but it is what it is. All right, so we're gonna have to. I don't even know. We're just super dead. We're just so dead. There wasn't really a lot of things we could have done to beat this besides draw better. Now they have Hardcast Force, actually. Yeah. It's very unfortunate. Yeah, I just, we needed to hit a Moxen or a Hollow one or a land that makes mana. Like, there were so many cards that we could have hit between our Once Upon a Time and our Bazaar activation that would have, like, let us be in a much better position to win this game. And we just hit none of them. And I don't even think we were, like, that far behind in this game. I think opponent's hand is kind of bad. Like, it hasn't been super strong. But this is going to be Ancestral, though. Oh, Lavinia? Okay. Yeah. Nah. Okay. We've been bested. It happens. Not thrilled. Like a Hollow one would have, off of our Once Upon a Time, would have been ideal, because that is a 4/4 and it brings back both Daredevils. It would have been exactly what we needed. Unfortunately, we dug pretty deep and just did not make it. And unfortunately, I also can't see what other cards we're going to draw because there's a Hull Breacher in play, and Magic Online does not work like that. Okay, here we go. Round 4 now. We're up against OKMV, who likes to play 4-color Deathrite Shaman decks, so this could be a pretty playable matchup. I wonder if we're supposed to keep this hand. Obviously, we can Once Upon a Time for a Bazaar. We can Once Upon a Time. This is the point where I don't know, like, Once Upon a Time isn't super good here, but I do want to keep a Misstep. Yeah, I'm just going to keep this hand, but I think it's definitely missing some power. But I really like what Mental Misstep against the Ragavan Deathrite Shaman deck. Their deck really falls apart when you Mental Misstep their 1-drop, but not when they draw Black Lotus and play Minsk and Boo on turn 1, probably, so... Black Lotus is quite good in decks that have good cards in them. Yep. Oh, fuck off. God, that... Yeah, I mean... Okay. Classic Jund player here. Oh, I didn't Once Upon a Time... This whole time in my head, chat, I was like, I need to make sure I Once Upon a Time if I Mental Misstep. I need to make sure I Once Upon a Time if I Mental Misstep. The whole time in my head, that's all I was thinking about. And then when the time came where I had to do it, and I just didn't do it. We're so dead. We're just gonna get wastelanded and lose here. Needed to cast Once Upon a Time. Kind of want to concede. I want to concede. A shame concede. I still can't draw a card. Hull Breacher is affecting me from the last game. So I know what they're on. I kind of just want to... I don't even know if I need a forest, actually. I just don't want Vigors. So I guess I do want forests. And an Endurance, maybe? Sure. If I had a Once Upon a Time, I would have played that game out because I probably would have hit a land and I would have kept it and it would have been fine. But obviously, just made a small mistake. Excuse me. All right, let's try this again. Okay, this is good because my opponent won't know that there's a hollow one coming. So everything is fine. We're going to do Once Upon a Time before Bazaar because we want to be able to pitch a AsmoVine to Bazaar when we have Hollow One Root Walla already. It's okay. We confused our opponent by having a tribal human land, and now we're just going to hit him with Bazaar of Baghdad, and they're going to be like, what just happened? What are you doing? I'm going to hit him with the Daredevil here. Activate Bazaar. Yes, I do have Bazaar of Baghdad into my 5-color tribal humans deck. We got a reader. They're probably just so confused. What? You Oh, we hit. We absolutely hit. Oh my god. We just hit so good. God. Oh my lord. We hit. It was great. They get the free win. I get a free win, I hope. This Lotus is cute. Look at it. Look at how blue it is. Scoop him up. Scoop him up. You don't want to play? I've cast Hollow One. That's an automatic win, according to all of my other opponents. Hollow One is an automatic win. Oh, Fury. Okay, all right. I see you, opponent. Yeah, that's a 2-for-1. You got me. That's a 2-for-2. You got me. Okay, all right, okay. This is going to be a Collector Roof turning off my Black Lotus. Oh, a Tarmogoyf? That's really bad for me. Oh, God, I have to go for it, don't I? I just have to go for it. I have to only pitch land, creature, or sorcery. That should be doable. Oh, we did it. We absolutely did it. Oh, we just 100% did the thing. Good Lord, we are hitting like crazy. How can we go from not hitting to hitting this, just this much? Like, oh my. That was the highest possible roll we could have ever come up with, I think, for that circumstance. That was ridiculous. Black Lotus, bad magic card. That just grows the goif. If we had played Black Lotus, it would have been actively bad for us. Hollow One, 2 broken. Okay, all right, okay. I accept. This has the powerful Ruby Asmo hand. If we can hit a Hollow One or a Root Walla here. Oh, baby. All right. This one looks good. Why does this deck not play Dismember? Well, I had Dismember in my sideboard, and I could not think of a reason to keep playing Dismember, so I cut it. I also have Asmo, which is like a Dismember, to be honest. It's pretty similar to Dismember, isn't it not? Wasteland go. All right. All right. Mental misstep after my opponent plays Deathrite Shaman. So what's my probability of hitting off this Vengevine? I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? We just go for it no matter what. Or I could theoretically go Steel Seeker on turn 1. I kind of think I am going to go Steel Seeker on turn 1. What's the downside? I guess the downside is if they play a Collector Oof. Then I still have a Secluded Courtyard. What if I just go... Yeah, I think they're going to be able to eat this Vengevine no matter what, though. All right, I'm going for it. Root Walla Hollow One, baby. Come on. That does not do it. I am going to still put the Vengevine in the yard, though. If my opponent wants to spend their green mana to eat it, I think that's acceptable. And then we probably pitch Courtyard over Opal because I'll have enough to turn on the Opal anyways. It's really unfortunate that we don't get to trigger our Vine, but I guess if this gets countered, I don't have enough to trigger our Opal, so maybe I should definitely have kept Courtyard. It's possible. Does my Asmo resolve? Well, it's hard for them to hold up green mana. I wouldn't say it's like super easy unless they have another fetch land, but I mean they played Volcanic Island Wasteland, right? Oh, they have Lightning Bolt? What if I say no? I would like a cookbook, please and thank you. They also like want to eat my Daredevil too, right? That's annoying. But they don't have a green source right now, so if I can play 2 spout creatures somehow, I definitely can't have lands ever again. Oh my god, can I play both of them? I can go cookbook, courtyard, opal. No. If I go, yeah, because I can discard it to cookbook. I can just return Vengevine this turn. So I go cookbook. Opal. Courtyard on human. Play a Steel Seeker. This was the best card in my deck to draw, probably. Maybe Bizarre is slightly better, but play a Steel Seeker. Activate Cookbook. Pitch Rootwalla. Cast Rootwalla. Trigger. Oh, I should have done this in a different order. Did this automatically get stacked, or no? I think it has to get that order, right? Bring back Vengevine. Why not Cookbook second? Because I wouldn't have enough artifacts for Metalcraft. Oh, fuck off! All right, they had Surgical on Vengevine. I still think we're ahead. Lotus. Lotus lets me just cast Daredevil, but I probably... Do I want to cast Daredevil? Probably not. We got to kill Renin 6 first. Next turn, I can kill the Deathrite Shaman. I think we want to discard it every turn because we can kill the Deathrite Shaman. 4-2 is fine, but I think we want to like have the infinite cookbook and kill all their creatures, right? I think that's the case. All right, they still have infinite waste, or they don't have infinite wastelands, but they still have wastelands. They also are holding up Deathrite Shaman activation, so I don't want to discard the Daredevil. Okay, well, I'm gonna discard a Daredevil. I was gonna say I don't want to discard a Daredevil right now, but I don't have a choice. So now they can eat my Daredevil. I kill their Deathrite Shaman. They lose their Renin 6. I lose a Daredevil. Yep. And then I still have a Steel Seeker ability. Do I want 2 cookbooks? I don't think I want to lose my draw step. I don't think so. I don't think we need it. It's pretty good. But I have to lose my draw step for it. But I guess I get another Steel Seeker trigger, so it's probably fine. Then the question is, do I double attack Ren to play around a second Lightning Bolt? No, I don't think so. Attack Ren, attack you. Well, no, I would rather you killed my Rootwalla with a Lightning Bolt, so attack Ren, attack you, attack Attack you. And pump. And then kill this Deathray Shaman. All right, so then next turn we have 2 cookbooks, which gives me the ability to kill any creature. And it also gives us another trigger. So that trigger can help us find a land as well, which is pretty good. I think we're ahead currently. Fury would be pretty bad for us. Agreed. All right. Well, that is the worst fucking thing that could have ever happened. I should not have killed Deathray Shaman. That is so bad for me. Should I have just let Deathray Shaman live? There's no way I should just let Deathray Shaman live. Well, I have a 3/3 it's attacking every turn, and they can't attack back. But oof is bad for me. Oh, fuck off. Their last 2 cards are red card Fury? And now they can attack? I mean, the Deathray Shaman eats my creatures out of my yard. And it gives them access to multiple colors of mana and the mana to play Minx and Boo and that kind of thing. So I mean, I'm pretty sure you're supposed to kill Deathray Shaman, but we are pretty weak to Collector Roof, so maybe I have to. I had an Oval Chase Daredevil that I was going to use with my cookbook. If I give them the mana to hardcast Fury and hardcast Minx and Boo and have multiple green sources, I think it's horrible for me. I think you're always supposed to kill Deathray Shaman there. Wow, my opponent hit Brainstorm Fetchland. Like, yeah, I am definitely weak to Collector Roof off of their Emerald. I agree, but I also think, like, in general, they're not going to be able to play anything afterwards if they Collector Roof using their Emerald, but they did also hit, you know, Brainstorm into Fetchland, so I don't think waiting till end step is good because it gives them a turn to make mana. What? Why would we wait till their end step? Waiting to our end step doesn't matter. Waiting to their end step gives them a full turn cycle to use their Deathray Shaman. There's just no way we're supposed to, like, hold an Asmo. No shot. The fact that their last 3 cards are Oof, Fury, Red card is just the absolute worst possible thing that could have happened. And they have definitely top decked one of those 3 things, which is even sadder. All right, well, now we have to draw exactly Bazaar of Baghdad, or I guess that is pretty reasonable. It's not bad. This also gives me a Steel Seeker trigger. Definitely can't play that card, so. All right, well, now we could draw. I mean, we still really just need to draw Bazaar of Baghdad. I don't think so, because like the bad things that Deathray Shaman does are just as bad as this. Like, opponent hardcasting Fury there also wins them the game. So artifacts give me Steel Seeker triggers, so those are not terrible. And then any land is good. That is the best one. Good lord. So they have hardcast Force up now. That, I guess, is problematic. You gotta be kidding me! Really? My opponent is just got all the best possibles. All the best possibles. Good lord. Are we serious? Good, come on. I think they just drew it and they cast it. I mean, I think that makes sense. It does cost you 2 life. It's just really bad for me. I mean, it's possible that's the best play because they're not losing this race, right? It's just I think it's just the play you're supposed to make. It's just really unfortunate that they drew the surgical the turn we drew bizarre. I mean, the combination of the Collectoroo Fury into the surgical bizarre has been a brutal showing for sure. So now I think our best draw is Basking Rootwalla. I think that's the best draw we have left. Don't know what else is getting us there. All right, well, now we can draw a human land, and that gives us a 2-1. But, I mean, my opponent probably has force at this point, right? I thought we were winning this game for sure, and then everything went badly. Yeah, now I think we're just dead. Fury has been so good. That card is probably underplayed in Vintage. Obviously, it's hard to get double red, like a red spell. But, man, that looks pretty good. Is this a Tarmogoyf? Of course it's a Tarmogoyf. All right, well, now we have no outs. That's pretty unfortunate. I was pretty much expecting to win that game, but sometimes your opponent's top decks are a little bit better than yours. All right, here we are, 5th and final round with our Asmo deck. That's a hand. I'm pretty happy to have gotten to play against 3 non-combo decks, so I can't really complain very much. Our deck is not good against combo, and we haven't had to play against it too much, so. This is kind of nice that we get to bring back our Daredevils here. And then we can look to get some value next turn. Oh, shops are interesting. I hope we don't get sphered then. Time Vault. Are we just getting Vault Keyed on turn 1? That would be so bad. Okay. Wow, that's an interesting draw, actually. So I actually can bring back my Vine this turn. Because I can play Asmo. Get a cookbook. Play this. Put it on human. Play a cookbook. Play a second Asmo. Trigger Vengevine. This resolves. Keep an Asmo. Get the 4th cookbook. And then attack. And we can't beat a lot of things, but they have so much mana. Is this just Covetous Jewel? Yup. Okay, hope we get a turn. I don't think we're getting a turn, chat. All right, well, I'm just gonna do this now, so I can let my opponent kill me. This is the hand where you need to have Force of Vigor. I think Coveted Jewel is like really, really strong deck. And it gets to play Force of Will. Like, it just... I mean, the last time I played it, I fizzled off multiple times, but it just doesn't feel like it ever fizzles, really. It feels like it kills on turn 1 and turn 2 as well. I'm, like, getting pretty tired of it, because it's really a rough deck to play my other workshop combo decks into, because it's just faster than my other workshop combo decks, and it has Force of Will. Yeah. We don't even have, like, great combo cards against it. Like, the best card against it is Collector Roof, right? We probably want to trim on, like, Asmo stuff here. Yeah, I mean, that was kind of the worry when I sleeved up this league, was that we would just get murdered by combo decks over and over again with our deck that's like kind of geared to beating creature in mid range. But we got lucky to play against Aggro Shops, Mono White Initiative, and 4-color mid range. Like, we didn't win all those, but those are all like reasonable matches of Magic that we could theoretically win. Whereas playing against combo based decks like this are really an uphill battle. Sand's kind of nice. It's got some things going on. We've drawn this one Mox Opal so many times. It's very impressive how much we've drawn this one Mox Opal. Just like multiple times in our starting hand. I think we only have one, right? I think maybe it should just be a a Lotus Petal instead of a Mox Opal. Just get all our like one cast of Asmo instead. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. But this hand has some counterplay, which is nice. We don't have a lot of cards right now to pitch to our Bazaar, but we could theoretically go Cavern Lead on this one, but I don't want to do that. I just want to play my Bazaar. If I draw another green card, I can put the Root Wall in play. Okay, I'm going to put the Opal, and I am going to put the Cavern away, or I don't need this Asmo. Well, the Asmo, I'd rather have all these counter magics. Yeah, just give me all my counter magic. This is like all the counter magic in my entire deck. How bad would it be to unrestrict Petal? I don't think unrestricting Petal produces anything that's good for the format. I don't know if it breaks the format, but I don't know if it does anything good for the format either, so... No. Okay, fine. I think I'm gonna wait and just play my Cavern and not activate my Bazaar. Because I need to hit something with this Vigor. Mindbreak Trap is not a playable Magic card. It's never turned on. Okay, this I'm gonna let go. Not that I have a choice. But I could steal it. All right, well, now there's no point in having a mind break trap. Well, I guess I might have to trap a force still. I think, I guess there's no point in me killing Cage either then. Okay. We're stealing the jewel, baby. Give me that jewel. Yeah. It's mine. Now I have hard cast everything. All right, well, now we're playing lizard control. I've got hard cast trap. I've got hard cast vigor. I got everything. I'm the coveted jewel owner now. As another jewel. I feel like we just let this resolve and take this one too. This is great. I'm loving this. So good. Okay, that was... And we didn't even show a mind break trap. So Coveted Jewel has some secret text on it where if you attack someone and they don't block you, you take the jewel from them. I know it never comes up because Coveted Jewel normally just kills you, but my opponent thought it'd be, safe to play a jewel and then a Trinisphere. In fact, they were not safe. We had a lizard, which is the strongest of creatures. The best thief in the multiverse? Not Dak Vaden. He dead. Basking Rootwalla. Greatest thief in the multiverse. That's a shitty hand. I have not seen very many hands that are worse than this. This hand also sucks. I need a hand that has Force of Vigor and Mind Break Trap, please. Fine. This is the best we got. I will. I will. I promise. I'll even cast it before playing my... I really wish I didn't have a second Bazaar of Baghdad here, but... What's I gotta do? Could have been worse. Could have had a third Bazaar of Baghdad. Vigor, 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 mind break trap. Vigor, mind break trap. Vigor, mind break trap. Yes. I'm just gonna ditch this mental misstep, right? Yeah. That's all I got, baby. I got the boys. They did have... I thought they had... Oh my god, I thought they had Ancestral so badly. They should just be casting Ancestral on their turn. It felt like they had Ancestral. But they should just be casting that on their turn. There's like no excuse to hold that until then. Like your deck is so powerful. Just cast it on your turn. Is this going to be a coveted jewel? Okay. I mean, they probably have a ton of forces at this point, so there's kind of no point. I don't really want to counter Vigor. Yeah, I don't really want a Vigor because I kind of want the jewel. This is a Metamorph. If it's a Metamorph, then then they just get a hollow one, though. What is my counterplay, really? Am I really winning this game if I hit this jewel right now? Am I really winning this game if I don't hit this jewel right now? Like what can happen? They can hit a Moxen and then PO, and then I lose. All right. I think I have to hit it. I think we lose if we vigor. We're like, I think we're still losing at that point. Oh, I meant to hit a Bazaar in my upkeep. Well, I guess now next turn I could maybe hit a Mind Break Trap. I don't know. I think we're just dead, unfortunately. I really wish I hadn't pitched the Mental Misstep. Maybe I should have just kept one Hollow One and kept Mental Misstep. Like, I had a hard read they had Ancestral, right? Maybe I was just supposed to keep the Mental Misstep and just... Did they just use their Ancient Tomb to activate this Sensei Stop? Maybe I don't know. I could have just kept one Hollow One. It's hard to like. There's just like if they don't have an Ancestral, it's just so bad for me to keep Mental Misstep. They got nothing. I'm gonna just hold my thing here. I don't know. I don't know what just happened. Things are definitely happening. Currently, I have two Mind Break or one. Oh, what the hell is this? This is a Hercules Recall. This is a Dismember. Fuck. I think I'm still supposed to wait. Pio? Oh. Mightstone. We're so dead. Maybe I should have just been aggressively digging. I think we just take our 3/3 and hope it works. It does replace itself, which is nice. But I think we're probably dead on the next turn. Like they just PO and kill us, right? They have 6 cards in hand. We're just so dead. The only thing I can think about in this game is should I have just held my Mental Misstep? Oh god, they have Force. Because it just doesn't make sense for my opponent to go Island Pass if they don't have Mental Misstep. But it also just doesn't make sense for them not to cast it. Kind of hard. If I had gone one Hollow One, we would be super behind too, right? They would have had like a Dismember or something, and we would have no threats. Yeah, so that's definitely PO. Oh, Displacer Kitten. That's infinite? You can just draw with top, play a spell, flicker your thing, draw with top, play a spell, flicker your thing, right? Yeah, I didn't really like that play because it just didn't feel like I was winning from there. I was really looking for them to break in the action. What if I had just hit Opal in response? That's a more interesting idea, I think. If in response to Sensei's top, I just hit Opal. I think I like that play even better. Because then they can't Metamorph and they can't PO unless they have an additional 0 drop in their hand, which they clearly don't, or they wouldn't be playing top out. So maybe I was supposed to just hit Opal. That's insane. Then I do lose to Dismember really badly, though. For what it's worth, Dismember owns me there. So maybe not. Like if they had Dismember in their hand and they Dismember. Oh wait, no, I had 2 hollow ones. So maybe it's actually fine. Yeah, I think that's a really weird line, but I think we're just supposed to hit the Opal with the top on the stack. That's crazy. Yeah. I didn't really think about that, but oof. I really don't know if I like Displacer Kit in this deck, but I guess if you add more Might Stones, it gets better. All right, I don't need to play this anymore though. We're very dead. We went 2-3. Honestly, pretty reasonable result considering we beat the 2 decks I would expect us to beat, and we lost to 2 decks I expect us to lose to, and then we lost the one that should be like an even matchup, right? So I actually think this went as expected, except we hit more aggro decks than I thought we would. Like if we just hit 4 PO decks, right, we're probably going 0-5 or 4-1 or 1-4 or something like that. But hitting 2 aggro decks are the decks we should be beating. And then, I mean, we didn't even like beat them clearly outright. They were pretty damn close games, and our opponents kind of conceded at some weird times. But this card was pretty sweet. I don't know if there's a deck in Vintage that really wants to have a green artifact draw engine / graveyard engine, but it's definitely costed correctly. I wish it had 2 power instead of 2 toughness. But I guess it doesn't die to Ren and 6 like Riddlesmith does, so maybe it's good. We didn't get to do a super amount of Riddlesmithing in this deck because there actually just aren't a lot of artifacts to cast. 15 is like a little on the... Maybe that's not actually on the super low, but I guess Hollow One's not exactly... It's like 11 more likely. So I don't know. The Riddlesmith part of this deck, maybe we just cut the Riddlesmiths. I just kind of felt like it'd be nice to have Riddlesmith Daredevil. And Riddlesmith Daredevil was good in the game that we had Riddlesmith Daredevil going. But the fact that the Steel Seeker triggers on artifacts entering, so things like the food token getting made, whereas the Riddlesmith is on cast, it's nice because they are both on different things, but it's also, you know, a little bit not as powerful. Pretty interesting, though. For the most part, we were able to cast our spells in a manner that made sense. So that part about the deck I liked. Like, you're not really trying in this deck to cast like some crazy shit like PO. When I play like the Riddler with POs, like those are quite difficult cards to cast. Whereas this deck wasn't struggling that much with that kind of thing. So you know, I think we did a pretty good job of having mostly free spells. Like, well, this is all free. This is all free. This is all free. This is all free. Like, the only spells in our deck that actually cost mana are these ones, and that's pretty good, actually. So, I actually thought we did a pretty decent job on deck building, which is interesting. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more vintage content, check out my YouTube channel every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. See you then.